Shalom everybody, this is Miss Rachel and it's time for Hebrew. Do you guys remember a while back we learned about root words? Well, we are going to learn some more root words today. So hopefully you remember that a root word usually is made up of 3 Hebrew letters. And just like the roots of a tree, they kind of branch out from there. You can add prefixes and suffixes and get many different Hebrew words, but they all come from the same root. Or many words will come from the same root. And so let's look at this one root word right here. We have katav, which is kaf, tav, vet. Katav means to write. And when we add the Hebrew letter mem, it becomes michtav, which means a letter. So it becomes a noun, a thing, and we know that thing is a letter. And we just added the mem prefix. We still have the same root word, katav, but we added the mem to make michtav. If we add a vav in the middle of the word, it becomes the verb, the action word, he writes, or kotev. And there are about 2,000 Hebrew root words that most of the Hebrew language is derived from. And there's a really great resource, BibleHub.com, where you can look up the Strongs, you can look up the root words and the interlinear, and you can read the Bible in Hebrew, which is a pretty good resource. So some of those prefixes we're going to go over. A lot of these you have learned before, but I want you to start to see how you add the prefixes to the root word, you add a suffix, and it's like building a word. And by understanding that, you'll be able to recognize a lot of words in the Hebrew Bible. So the first prefix is vav. It's just the letter vav. We add that to the beginning of a word. It means and. Sometimes it can mean but usually it means and. As in the word ve'ahavta, and you shall love. When we add the prefix beit or vet, it means in or on, as in bereshit, or in the beginning. When we add the prefix he, it means the, as in ha'olam, the universe. When we add a kaf, it means like or as in mikamocha, who is like you. See the ka here. When we add a lamed, it becomes 2 or 4, as in l'chaim, which is a toast that we say sometimes, which means to life, l'chaim. You see the lamed, and then chai is the root word in the middle, to life. Mem means from, as in mi Mitzrayim, from Egypt. The sheen means who or that, as in shehekianu. So we have who has kept us alive. So the chai is the root word, and then we add anu at the end, which means we or us. So here's the suffix nu that means we or us. A few other suffixes are ha, which means you, as in nafshicha, your heart, your soul. And then we have ot, which makes it plural, makes it more than one if it's a feminine word, and im, which makes it plural or more than one if it is a masculine word. And again, we've got a little reference down here if you guys want to check that out. You can learn a little bit more about Hebrew root words. The Hebrew passage here, which is Exodus chapter 6. Shemot is the word Exodus in Hebrew, which means names, Shemot. And I'm just going to read the first part of this passage. It says, Vayomer Yahweh el Moshe, Ata tirei asher ese le Pharaoh. And so what we read there is, and Yahweh said unto Moses, now shall you see what I will do to Pharaoh. So I want you to kind of see how we can pick this apart a little bit. I am going to use a highlighter so you can see this. So we have the Vav, which means and. Now we have Amar, which is our root word that means say. So we have and said Yahweh. El means to. Moshe. And said Yahweh to Moshe. Atah means you. And then Tireh. The Tav makes it future, so you will see. Asher, that which or what. Ease will do. And then we have the prefix lamed, which means to again, and then Pharaoh. So that's how we get that passage, the translation of that passage. And Yahweh said to Moses, now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. And so I've picked out 10 root words here. And the first one is a review, Amar. And then we have 8 new words, Ra'ah, Asah, Shalach, Garash, Dabar, and then we already said Amar, Ra'ah, Yada, Kum, Natan, and then Shema is also a review. So we'll look at those root words now. So the first word is Amar. Amar. And I just want to point out that most Hebrew root words use the vowels ah. So if you don't see the vowel pointings on there, we can pretty much assume that it's going to be an ah vowel sound. So again, that's Amar, which means to say. The next Hebrew root is Ra'ah, which means to see or appear. Ra'ah. The next root is Asah, to do or make. Shalach, to go or send. Garash. And this is kind of a funny picture, but this is the only one that I found that really had the idea of to drive out. And that's what it means, to drive out or cast out. Garash. The next Hebrew root is dabar, which means to speak. The next root is yada, which means to know. Kum, which means to arise or stand up. Natan, which means to give, put, or set. Shema, which means to hear. And that one was a review. Shema, to hear. So let's go over those again. I'm going to say the roots, and then you guys repeat after me, and so you can remember these roots as well. Get some practice. Amar. Ra'ah. Asah. Shalach. Garash. Dabar. Yada. Kum. Natan,
Natan,
and Shama.
Shama.
Good job, you guys. So I just wanted to post at the very end some references here. I'll give you a few minutes if you want to write down these references. The first one has the Bible written in Hebrew, and you can look up any root words there. It has the Strong's Concordance, which is really nice. The next website, the jewfact.org, has some information about Hebrew root words. The last website is Achla, which has some cool little downloadable kids worksheets on Hebrew root words that I thought you might enjoy. And then also there is a post that's supposed to be on the Facebook page. If you're interested, I took those slides and put them in a Word. You can print them out and cut them out to use as flashcards. So one of the best ways to learn Hebrew is to study the root words and to practice them by using flashcards. That's actually the way that I got started learning Hebrew, and it has really helped a lot in being able to recognize different Hebrew words in the Bible. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful Sabbath, and we'll see you next time. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.